he dragged us in the end zone and stuff like that. So in order to stop him today, we're going to have to really hit him hard.
Billy Ray to the end zone. Touchdown!
Heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. We lost because we got complacent. And, you know, we took things for granted. And, you know, that's something that we don't have this year. We don't take things for granted now. We're going to go out and play like we normally do every game.
And what great grit by the Duke Blue Devils as they have won it and pulled off the upset.
It was, I guess, embarrassing. But that's last year. It's a new era. Can't wait.
Sports presents the best in regional college football, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's game is brought to you by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. For insurance and financial services, better call JP. By Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By the airline of ACC Country, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. By MCI's Prime Time Plan. Real savings 24 hours a day. And by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
We are live at Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, as JP Sports presents Atlantic Coast Conference football. This afternoon, it is homecoming. The Blue Devils of Duke against the Tigers of Clemson. A very pleasant good afternoon and welcome to Clemson. I'm John Sanders along with Jack Corrigan. It is homecoming here, but everybody remembers last year with different perspectives. Clemson, of course, remembering the very difficult loss at Duke. For Randy Cuthbert, though, a remembrance that was very pleasant, a coming out party for him last year. However, 1990 for him has not been the same.
They have trailed the Duke Blue Devils in all 3 games they have played this year, and as a result, Randy Cuthbert's number has not been called as often this year. He has carried the ball only 40 times this season. They hope to have him do it more this afternoon if they are going to be effective.
And there to greet him will be some of the finest linebackers in the country. As a matter of fact, that group has led Clemson now to the #3 spot in the nation in total defense. What a great group.
They are considered, according to some preseason predictions, the best linebacking group in the country. In addition to the 4 starters, Brewster, McDaniel, Johnson, and Kirkland, you can add Simmons and Shepard as well. Quite a group. Yesterday, I had a chance to talk with Levon Kirkland, John Johnson, and Wayne Simmons about how they would rate a tackle by a Clemson linebacker.
Well, me, I'll probably rate like a 1 or something like that. But the rest of the guys, they probably rate like 11 or something like that.
Well, what's the difference between a 1 and an 11?
Well, you know, 1, you know, it's kind of sorry and arm tackling and whatnot. 11 is all pow, you know, everybody's hearing it. Going, oh my God, my baby, he's hurt.
Probably a 9. You try to get a 9, shoot for a 12. Usually come up about a 9.
What's the difference between a 9 and a 12?
9 and a 12, well, a 12 is when you don't get up. 9 is when you have to do it all over again. A good tackle, say a 13.
And I know one thing, John, I wouldn't want to be hit by a 13.
We will see some 13s here today. A couple things for Clemson to make up for the loss to Duke, a homecoming loss last year as well. We'll be back after this. Death Valley here in Clemson, South Carolina is sold out for Duke and Clemson. How do we know it's homecoming? Well, I think our hotel is probably in North Carolina, isn't it?
We're a long way away from this stadium. They support this team as well as any program in the country. It's that strange contradiction in terms, you know, welcome to Death Valley, but great tradition here with Clemson football. Kenny Hatfield, I'm sure, is going to maintain that for the Tigers.
And maintaining it for us, part of that tradition. Let's go down to the field and get set for the start of this one with Mike Hogwood. Mike?
Well, John, you know, there are a lot of traditions all across American college football. Here at Clemson, they have a tradition they call rubbing the rock. This is Howard's Rock right here. It's been here since 1966. The Clemson players have just arrived. Every one of them will touch that rock. It's supposed to give you magical powers. They'll run down this hill to the cheer of thousands. Now, we've been given a special opportunity today. Our camera crew and myself have been invited to run down with these guys. Hopefully, we're going to survive it. We're going to try to do it and feel that emotion. tradition, and we'll tell you how it all comes out in just a minute. We'll be right back to Clemson, South Carolina.
It is the moment that Mike has been waiting for to experience the run down the hill. Look at him go.
I got to tell you, that is a very steep hill. But he made it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we made it. Hey, guys, I want to tell you something. The players say if they're not ready to play before the game starts, when they get to the bottom of the hill, they're ready. Boy, you could really feel the emotion as you came down and all those fans yelling for them. That's really a special tradition here at Clemson, and I'll always treasure getting to be a part of it for one football Saturday.
Well, Michael, congratulations. You got down that hill without falling down. We're proud of you. Boy, it's going to be a great day weather-wise, John, for this football game.
The sky right now is overcast. The temperature is very pleasant, 70 degrees. There's a possibility of rain, Jack, but they say later tonight and probably tomorrow. So the conditions are pretty good.
Well, the important thing on the conditions, the 70-degree temperature, both these teams want to keep fresh bodies up front defensively and the front sevens on their defenses. With the lower temperatures, and we have been in this stadium when it has been extremely hot, that would have been a problem to do it. It will not be a problem in that regard this afternoon.
Chris Gardocki, who is simply one of the best in the country, will do the kicking off this afternoon. Back deep, Randy Jones, who's outstanding at this level. Of course, Jack, I think he's had more practice than he wants so far this year, returning kickoffs. He'll be back deep along with Quentin McCracken. They are the two deep men. The game is underway at Death Valley, and Jones is going to take the opening kickoff on his 6-yard line. 15 and 20. Head down as he spins across the 25 near the 23-yard line. Kenzel Jackson made the tackle. And the starters, Dave Brown, second week in a row, the starter at quarterback. Randy Cuthbert. Chris Brown is the fullback. Clements and Mays will be the wide receivers. Keep in mind, Walter Jones is back. Hageman, Petroff, Albright, Highsmith, Natowski, and Shaw along that Duke offensive line. First down 10, and the ball across the 25 at the 28-yard line.
Walter Jones in the ball game as a split end to the right.
And in motion it is Cuthbert. The fullback, Chris Brown, is hit after a gain of 1. Stacked up in the middle of that line by Vance Hammond.
An outstanding defensive unit, as John mentioned, third in the country right now. Rob Bodine, the walk-on nose guard, has been outstanding. Vance Hammond, a great player. The linebackers, as we talked about, among some of the best in the country. And a very fine secondary, headed up, believe it or not, by a sophomore free safety, Robert O'Neill.
Brad Breedlove checked in at a wide receiver. Both wide receivers to the left on 2nd and 9, 29. Cuthbert picks up 2 to the 31, and that is all for Randy. Randy again tackled by Vance Hammond, number 90, a redshirt senior from Spartanburg, South Carolina. 1989 All ACC. Very, very tall. In fact, the tallest defensive lineman, Jack, they've ever had at Clemson.
They've got a big defensive front. Chester McLaughlin at 6'5 and about 325. Hammond at 6'7, 285. Bodine, the midget, at 245 and 6'1.
Third down and 7. The ball at the 31. The backs are split right now. Passing formation. Mark Mays back in the lineup. Brown sets, throws. The pass is caught at the 40-yard line. That's good enough for a first down. Pass reception made there by Mark Mays, the senior.
Good protection for Dave Brown. They run a bench route. Excellent coverage by Jerome Henderson, but that was an absolutely perfect ball to Mark Mays, the senior who has battled back from the severe knee problems. The key for Duke this afternoon is hang on to the football. That's what killed him against Virginia.
Aaron Shaw has been the leading receiver for the Blue Devils. 3 wideouts. Walter Jones in the lineup and in motion. Cuthbert hit at the line of scrimmage, no gain. Cuthbert on the carry. This time it is Chester McLaughlin who made the tackle.
But credit, as much as McLaughlin made the play, that guy right there, number 92, Doug Brewster, good recognition of the draw play action. He stepped into the hole. You see the numbers he has averaged throughout his Clemson career.
He has started in 3 consecutive bowl games, has Doug Brewster. He had a big game against Tech last year. That was a loss. Homecoming loss to Georgia Tech. The 2 losses for Clemson, 1 to Duke and 1 to Georgia Tech, both in the ACC. Brown in motion. Cuthbert falls for 2, and that's all. He falls in the arms of Doug Brewster again, number 92, the senior from Athens.
Well, when I talked with Bob Trott, the defensive coordinator for Clemson this week, he mentioned the fact that when you deal with Duke in terms of their running game, they're not a power football team. They're a team that will run counters, will run traps, will run screens, will run draws, and so you have to teach your linebackers, particularly your inside linebackers, to be patient. So far, Brewster and McDaniel are doing that well for Kenny Hatfield's defense.
3rd and a long 8 as they move into the shotgun. 3 wide receivers. Cuthbert blocks, the pass is complete. Fighting for the first down is Clements. Darrell Clements gets across midfield. Again, it's Brewster to make the tackle, but it is a Duke first down.
Clemson went into their nickel package. They brought on an extra defensive back, but again, Mays was able to get free. Likewise for Clements, and Clements is the guy they go to this time. And a nice effort by Darrell to get the first down, because where he caught that ball, he was about 3 yards shy.
But he did work his way into Clemson territory at the 49. It's first down and 10. Motion man is Mays. Cuthbert. It's about 3 on the play. Down near the 46-yard line. We're in the first quarter, 11 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. Al Richard, one of the backup defensive linemen, made the tackle. There's Randy Cuthbert. What a story from the Clemson game on last year, Jack. He just would not be denied.
Well, he has got the kind of size that Duke has not enjoyed very often in the tailback position. 220 pounds, but with good speed to turn the corner.
Well, he went from 3rd string to the cover boy on the media guy. A little bit of confusion. Walter Jones stops. Roll out by Brown. Sets, fires downfield, and the pass is caught by Breedlove. Breedlove is inside the 35-yard line, down near the 32. Levon Kirkland made the tackle. Henderson helped out. It's a 13-yard pickup and a good opening march for Duke.
Well, Brad Breedlove makes a nice play here, but he will learn something quickly, particularly against a speedy defense like Clemson. You run between the lines in a track meet. You run across the lines on a football field. I'm going to tell you, against that defense, running laterally, you're going to be in trouble.
Brown is 3 of 3 on this opening drive for 32 yards. Sets his team up in the I formation. First down 10 at the 32. Duke against Clemson here in Clemson, South Carolina. No gain at all for Randy Cuthbert. Brenston Buckner, the backup nose guard, made the tackle on the play. Tyrone Simpson there as well.
Now, we mentioned the fact that Clemson will rotate a lot of bodies among their front 7. Ken Hatfield feels they have to keep a great deal of pressure on the Duke offense, Dave Brown in particular. That means keeping the fresh bodies out there as Duke has smartly driven down the field.
Second down 10. Let's call it 11. They actually lost about a half yard. They go out of the shotgun. Here comes pressure. The pass is intended for Cuthbert, and it's incomplete. The pressure came from the outside linebacker, Johnson. McDaniel down there to cover on the play. It'll be 3rd and long yardage.
Well, there aren't too many teams in the country that have a 4-4 linebacker. John Johnson is one of those kind of people. Johnson runs a 4-4 40. Levon Kirkland, the other outside linebacker, runs it in 4-5. And then you get guys like McDaniel and Brewster laying the big hits on the inside. That's why they're rated the best linebacking group in the country.
Out of the shotgun again on 3rd down, long yardage. Pass is caught inside the 20, then dropped. It'll be incomplete. Henderson made the hit. It was the first throw of the game to the tight end Aaron Shaw, and he could not hang on.
Dave Brown really feathers this ball right in among the traffic, and Shaw had it, but a good pop right on the football by Jerome Henderson. That was a good call downfield as well. If his feet, that is Aaron Shaw's feet, get on the ground before that ball is popped loose, that would have been a legal catch and a fumble. Good call by the official.
They will go on 4th down. They're kind of in no man's land here. So the decision is to go on 4th. It'll be the pooch kick. Fielded inside at the 8-yard line by Henderson. So the quarterback, Dave Brown, just pooched the ball inside the 10-yard line. Good opening drive, no points. We'll be back for Clemson's first possession right after this. 5.5 minutes. Duke had the football. No points. I guess the good news for the Blue Devils, Jack, they did not turn the ball over. And here's the starting lineup for the Tigers of Clemson. Deshaun Cameron, a quarterback. The tailback, Ronald Williams. They've got two great freshmen, and we'll see a tailback. Rudy Harris starts at fullback this afternoon. We may also see some of Kennedy. Bratton trying to bounce back from a lick last week. Flesh, Whitley, Harmon, Hall, and Stacy Fields. The rest of that offensive starting lineup for Clemson at their own 9-yard line. They'll go out of the eye. And they go immediately to Ronald Williams. Williams last week, of course, had a great game along with his fellow true freshman.
Defensively, Preston Anderson and Scott Yeomans up front will have to help the freshman Jeff Smith against a big and veteran offensive line for Clemson. The linebackers a little thin. Chris Rising is out of the ball game today. Likewise in the secondary, Keith DuBose in the ball game replacing Wyatt Smith.
And Bryant, a wide receiver, is now in there, forward to the 25-yard line, and his second carry is Williams. Darrell Spells helped upset him there. Darrell leading the team in tackles coming into the ballgame. You look back to last week, Williams had 183 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Witherspoon, we'll see him as well, had 123. Tremendous performance.
But that was Appalachian State. The Duke Blue Devil defense will make those yards a little tougher to come by.
3rd down and 4. The ball at the 15-yard line. Both wide receivers are to the right. The option play. Short first down. Williams is pushed out by Dwayne Marks, an outside linebacker, forcing Ronald Williams out of bounds. McCracken also coming up to help force on the play. It'll be 4th down.
Good play here by Dwayne Marks. He forces Cameron to pitch the ball probably sooner than he should, and Marks has the speed to help McCracken seal off the corner. Boy, that's just what Duke wanted, a 3-and-out against the Clemson offense.
Reed Love and McCracken will be deep. Chris Gardocki boomed one 66 yards last week. That on top of having a field goal of 57 yards. A line drive type kick fielded at the 37-yard line. Good field position for Duke down at the 49-yard line, and that's where the Blue Devils will have it. A 45-yard kick, 6-yard return, and Scott Bevel, the snapper, made the tackle.
Well, Chris Gardocki is a big weapon for Clemson. They tend to be a little conservative on offense, deep in their own territory, knowing they've got their strong defense and the good kicking of Gardocki. But Chris had a rare line drive kick on that one. Duke ends up getting good field position on the exchange of punts.
Just on their own side of midfield. At the 49, it's 1st and 10. Backs are split. Both wide receivers, Mays and Jones, are to the left. Dropped the ball on the exchange from center and a loss of a yard. Falling on top of it is Dave Brown. Dave, who got his first start of the season and a lot of frustration in the form of those turnovers last week, drops it here, and it'll be 2nd down.
One thing about the Duke offense, however, is unlike perhaps some other teams, I think BYU would also fit into this category. Down and distance does not mean as much to them in terms of their play calling. They are so wide open. 2nd and 4, 2nd and 9 doesn't make much difference.
Breedlove to the right, Jones to the left. The backs are split behind Dave Brown. 2nd down and 12. No score, 6:56 remaining, 1st quarter. Here comes the pressure. They've got him. The pass is away and deflected. They call it an incomplete pass. Arlington Nunn was right there, number 39, with some help from Levon Kirkland.
Well, Dave Brown is going to see this a lot today. Levon Kirkland with that 4.5 speed as the outside linebacker, and Arlington Nunn, the free safety, the strong safety, I should say, from the blind side, decide to meet at the quarterback, and they were just a half a tick late from having that be a fumble.
Brown is now 3 out of 6. Duke on 3rd down, where they've been having no luck at all this year, is 2 of 3 so far. That's a motion flag that is down, and the play will be blown dead. It looked like Al Hageman started to back up and get ready to block a little too quickly.
Well, one of the things about being in Death Valley, particularly in tough situations like this, Dale Phillips will give us the official call. We already knew that, but one of the problems in Death Valley, being able to hear the snap count when you're the opposition, and they're going with a lot of silent counts. Let's go down the sidelines of Mike Hogwood.
Duke already had a couple turnovers. There's a totally different attitude on the sidelines this week. They're really up about the defense. And even though the offense is sputtered, these teammates are really cheering them on down here. Big difference this week.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. They go to the shotgun on 3rd down and 17. Here comes that pressure again. Brown steps up, fires, and the pass is caught. Mark Mays up high to make the catch in front of none. He's got enough for the first down as they move it inside the 40 near the 37. That's a 20-yard gain.
Walter Jones was the guy, 26 rather than 86, who makes the catch, and a good leaping catch by the young man who has been out of the lineup for disciplinary reasons. Smart effort there by Dave Brown. That's what a pocket is all about, the ability to step up, have the defenders run by you.
At the 37, it's 1st and 10. Cuthbert in motion. At least Brown is the lone setback. And he has the football. Hit immediately by Al Richard, who just straightened him up as he got to the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost a half a yard, but nothing there at all on that short delay.
It will be very difficult for Duke to run inside on 1st and 10 until they start completing some passes on 1st and 10. They, to this point, have tried to run the ball on 1st down each time. Have seen Clemson play a pretty base defense on 1st down.
It is 2nd down and 10. Jones and Breedlove now the wide receivers, and there is contact in the neutral zone. Did they draw them off, or was the contact made by the defense?
Well, Rob Bodine pointing a finger at the offensive line of Duke. Kenny Hatfield waiting for the call. Did Stuart Albright flinch a little early, the center? No, he did not. It is Rob Bodine who jumped off sides. Let's get a close-up look here. Dave Brown changing the snap count. Oh, he changed the cadence. You could see him change right there, although you couldn't hear it. You could see by the way he moved his body. Some people say when a quarterback bobs his head like that, he can be called for drawing offsides. I think there was just a situation of him changing the intensity of his voice. Watch it again. Right as Dave Brown, right here, changes his intonation, if you will, and draws Clemson offsides.
So it's a big 5 yards. Makes it 2nd and 5. Cuthbert inside the 30. Down to the 27-yard line, and he's close to a Duke 1st down. Jerome Henderson came up to make the tackle, and there are some people here from Durham this afternoon.
Well, if you're not wearing orange, you are in a definite minority in this stadium. Randy Cuthbert, you see his numbers coming in. Keep in mind that last year he had that 1,000-yard season after being virtually not used in the first half of the year. He had some big ball games down the stretch for the Blue Devils.
So Walter Jones seeing a lot of playing time here in the first quarter in his first game back after that suspension. He split right, Breedlove to the left. The backs at this point are split behind Dave Brown, the quarterback. Inside 5 minutes. Brown changing things at the line of scrimmage. Straight drop. He looks deep to the end zone. Incomplete. Brad Breedlove not quite there. He was accompanied in the end zone by Jerome Henderson.
Breedlove did a good job here of deking out Henderson a little bit to get Jerome to feel the ball was shorter, and then he accelerated, but just not quite quick enough. I tell you what, Jerome almost got a hand out there a little early. Henderson is the guy that they are going to try and isolate when they can. Dexter Davis, the other linebacker, outside quarterback, is good, but Henderson's the guy they want to pick on, if you can pick on anybody.
3 wideouts as they go from the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. It's picked up, and Cuthbert inside the 20. Head down, he spins forward to near the 17-yard line, and that's going to be very close to another first down. Ed McDaniel, one of the inside linebackers, teaming with Jerome Henderson defensively for the Tigers.
Well, the Tigers have some susceptibility to the pass. They have given up about 144 yards a ball game on the pass, but they have not faced a team with the diversity of the pass like Duke since the Virginia game, the lone loss thus far for the Tigers in 1990.
3rd down and about a yard to go. 4 minutes remaining first quarter. Duke has had the ball most of this opening 15 minutes. Cuthbert is the lone setback, and again, Dave Brown will change it up.
Delay a game.
The flags are down, and Jack's right. They didn't get it away. The huddle clock had run down. A costly penalty, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the things about the Duke offense, if it can be a problem, and it really ends up happening to almost any diversified offense in college football now, John, you get your quarterbacks thinking about changing play calls all the time, which is good. But when you have 3rd and 1 in the scoring zone, even if it's not the play to call, you make that call because it's better to be 4th and 1 than now 3rd and 6 and maybe 4th and longer than that.
Mays brings the play in, replacing Clement. So it's Mays, Breedlove, and Jones as the wide receivers. This is the 9th play of the drive. It's the second long first quarter drive for Duke. Blue Devils, nothing to show for it. We're still scoreless. Brown down over the middle.
Wow.
The catch is made. Sandwiched in between is Walter Jones. An 18-yard pickup. It'll be 1st and goal. Somehow, Jack, that ball squeezed through there, and he held on to it.
Great concentration by Walter Jones on a beautifully thrown ball by Dave Brown. He's got some heat on that one. Right between Arlington Nunn and Robert O'Neill, and Walter Jones, as I said, his first game action of the year, and he's making the most of it.
1st and goal. The ball is at the 5-yard line. Trying to finish off the drive. The Duke Blue Devils have it at the 5. A cut back to the line of scrimmage is all for Randy Cuthbert. No gain on 1st down. This has got to be somewhat of a problem here. What do you do in this situation, Jack, knowing how tough it will be to run up the middle? You got 1st and goal at the 5.
I think you have to get into a situation of running wide and having a run-pass option for 3 people. Do you see how much Duke has controlled the clock here in the first half? Some kind of option to the left side where he can pitch the ball, run it himself, or run a quick slant pass. That would be about the best to try.
3 wide receivers. The lone setback is Cuthbert. There's the rollout. Brown goes down at the 9-yard line. The pressure came from linebacker Doug Brewster for first-year coach Brett Hatfield.
Well, that's what they thought they wanted to see. You've got Cuthbert out there, but nobody's sealed on the inside. Actually, Dave Brown trips over Cuthbert as he seals off against the inside linebacker Brewster, but Brown lost his footing.
The defense has not allowed a point at home for Clemson. Brown checks back in as fullback. Mays comes out. 2 wide receivers to the right. Now timeout is called with 1 minute and 51 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Dave Brown decides to call a timeout. Duke, 3rd down 9 when we come back to Clemson, South Carolina. First, a word from your local ACC station. ACC football is brought to you in part by Southern National. Sooner or later, they'll be your bank. And sooner or later, Clemson is going to have the football for a while. But most of this first quarter, it has been played in Clemson territory and in the hands of the Blue Devils of Duke. But no score. It's 0-0. We're inside 2 minutes to go. Duke got the football with 7:33 remaining in the quarter. They had it on the opening kickoff after Clemson deferred their option to the second half. And they ate up 5 minutes and 34 seconds. But they need points. It's 3rd and goal. The ball back out near the 10-yard line. Dave Brown will go out of the shotgun. The noise level comes up. To the end zone. Intercepted. It's picked off by Dexter Davis. That's his 4th of the year. Davis up into the end zone to make the interception.
Duke came into the ball game -8 in the turnover category. Clemson a +8. You can add 1 more to each one of those. He just didn't throw the ball far enough. Duke blows a great opportunity. We're still scoreless at Clemson.
No score, 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. Duke has had the football most of the first quarter. 5 minute and 34 second opening drive, no points. 5 minutes and 48 seconds on that drive, ending in the interception in the end zone. And on 1st down, spinning forward for a 1st down and more, is Rudy Harris, the fullback on the option play. A 14-yard pickup, and Clemson has its first down of the game. McCracken made the tackle. But let's go back and show you how Clemson got the ball back.
Well, when you are down deep in the scoring zone, if you are not going to be absolutely sure you can complete that pass, you throw it away and take the field goal. You could see the time that Dave Brown had, but he felt like he didn't have the time, threw it much too early. You've got to throw that, so if your guy doesn't catch it, it's in the nickel seats.
It is 1st and 10 after that 14-yard pickup. And again, the fullback, Harris, with it. This time only a couple before he is shoved back by the Duke defense. A reminder to stay tuned at the conclusion of today's game. We'll be selecting a Schick most valuable player from each team.
Well, Rudy Harris was an outstanding tailback at Brockton, Massachusetts High School. He was a high school All-American for Brockton. Playing fullback, it's a new experience for me. He had never played fullback at any level in his career previously. So you've got a tailback in the fullback spot. Good when you're running the ball, not so often when he's blocking.
Ryans and Smith, the 2 wide receivers, split right, and coming left is Deshaun Cameron with all kinds of room. He's inside Duke territory. He's necktie tackled out of bounds by Erwin Sampson. A gain of 15 yards and a flag to follow.
Very late flag and a crowd-influenced flag. The crowd, I mean the Clemson sideline, yelling and screaming. It was a tough tackle, but I don't know if it deserved the penalty flag, but you're going to get the personal foul.
I would say it does if he made the hit out of bounds. It depends on where he attempted to make the tackle.
Well, let's get the perspective on it. Great play fake by Cameron. He's got Eric Harmon out in front of him. He's running for the sidelines. That's a bad call. That's a bad call. It's a high tackle. It's not a great tackle, but he's still in bounds. And he's dragged down between the shoulder pads and the helmet. That was a sidelines influenced call, in my opinion.
The ball, in any case, is spotted at the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Clemson, a couple of big plays, big gainers, and then the penalty tacked on, and all of a sudden, they're in good shape. Kulak and Smith will be split to the right out of the I formation. That's Gulak in motion. Jumping forward inside the 30 to the 28 is Ronald Williams. Mark Allen made the tackle. Let's go down to Mike Hugwood.
Well, guys, you talked about the home crowd. It is homecoming here, and there's definitely a home crowd advantage. This is a sold-out stadium, 80,000 orange shirts, and right now they're cheering their team on, and I think helped turn the game around a little bit for Clemson here.
Thank you, Mike. Williams, 4 carries, 11 yards so far. Of course, big crowds, nothing new here. Clemson, number 7 in the country last year in attendance. They averaged just short of 79,000 per game. Closing seconds, first quarter, no score. Option play. Deshaun Cameron's got a hole at the 25. Inside the 20, down inside the 15-yard line. Keith Dubose made the tackle after a gain of 11. And the Clemson running game now, Jack, starting to open some pretty big holes.
I don't know if this was designed or a busted play that went well, but you see there going out of the picture, Rudy Harris, the fullback, went the opposite way. It helped take half the Duke defense with them. Larry Ryans gave Deshaun Cameron a good block to turn the corner, and now they're knocking on the door as the quarter has come to a close.
We have finished the first 15 minutes. Duke had the ball most of the time. Clemson had it now, looking for a touchdown. We come back for the second quarter. First quarter here at Death Valley is scoreless. Duke had the ball most of the time. Neither team able to score. And Clemson now, as we start the second quarter, knocking on the door. Jack?
Well, it's an ideal situation for them because they have been able to get their running game going. You see the numbers from the first half, those 59 yards for Clemson, the bulk of them coming on this drive, as they have got it inside the Duke 15-yard line.
2 tight ends, they go to the wishbone formation. Deshaun Cameron, the quarterback, has not thrown a pass in the game. Movement on the left side, and they'll blow this one dead. The running backs right now, Harris joined by another fullback, Caputo, along with Ronald Williams, and of course, Coach Fred Hatfield not happy about that quick movement on the left side.
Well, Bruce Batten, the left tackle, was the guy ahead, and you would think a guy who was an academic all-ACC with a 3.5 in engineering would remember the snap count. It shows you how much the emotion gets into a football game.
Well, for one thing, he can't hear the snap count that well. Secondly, he's anxious to get out there and make it go. Here he comes.
You're also talking about a guy who suffered a concussion last week and missed a good deal of the Appalachian State game. Maybe he's still shaking the cobwebs loose.
Now they bring in some wide receivers into the lineup as Ryans checks in. Gulak is in there and Terry Smith. So Hatfield changes his formation now. With the change, it's 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10. He wanted to go to the tailback. But Deshaun Cameron now running for his life and down at the 20-yard line. Darrell Spells made the tackle, but there was quite a bit of confusion that time, Jack.
Well, this is a very inexperienced, skill position football team right now on offense. You can see Cameron and the tailback Williams having problems trying to figure out what to do. And Deshaun was running for his life. This football team, in terms of their skill positions, as young as they've been in almost 50 years. Look at that. And even Deshaun Cameron has not had a lot of playing time, and he's the veteran as a redshirt junior.
Gulak split to the left, 2 wide receivers. Smith and Ryans are split to the right. And a timeout will be taken by Fred Hatfield's Clemson Tigers. They want to talk it over. 14-10 to play first half, a scoreless game. Clemson has the ball at the 20 when we come back. We are back, a scoreless game, 14-10 remaining in the first half of play. Some long possession drives by Duke in the first quarter. Clemson trying to capitalize on their long possession drive that started at the end of the first quarter and has now continued into the second. 7 plays, 2 minutes, 35 seconds on the clock. But this is a big play here.
Derek Witherspoon in the ball game in a wingback spot right now.
That's Witherspoon in motion. Deshaun Cameron's pass is almost intercepted, and that had touchdown written all over it for Sampson. What is it they say? If defensive backs could really catch the ball all the time, they'd be wide receivers.
They'd be wide receivers.
He had a touchdown there.
He did. Rick Stockstill, the quarterback coach for Clemson, said he feared Erwin Sampson and Quentin McCracken in terms of pass coverage. And you could see that Erwin broke on that ball nicely as they tried to find Larry Ryans. He would have had, if not a touchdown, a big, big return.
Stacy Fields, the tight end, checks back in, as does Ronald Williams. An opportunity lost there for Duke on defense.
Clemson only completed 4 passes last week, even though they had the big win over Appalachian State.
3rd down, long yardage. Cameron to the end zone. Touchdown. Terry Smith into the end zone. A 20-yard scoring play, and Clemson is out on top.
Duke decided to go into zone coverage. They did not put a lot of pressure on Deshaun Cameron. They dropped back into deep zone coverage. Cameron had enough time to wait for Terry Smith to slide all the way through the zone. Split the 2 deep safeties and had outrun Derek Jackson, the underneath coverage. The redshirt freshman has been one of the surprises this year for Clemson.
It takes him only 1 minute into the second quarter to take the lead. Gardocki has never missed an extra point, does not miss this one on homecoming 1990. Clemson has struck first, capping a long drive with a 20-yard touchdown pass. Cameron to Smith, and Clemson has the lead. A word now from your local stations. 7-0 is the score. Clemson leading Duke thanks to the touchdown pass from quarterback Deshaun Cameron to Terry Smith. Pretty interesting number there. When he completes them, they mean something.
They find the end zone. The other one, a 79-yarder to Gary Cooper 2 seasons ago when Deshaun was a redshirt freshman.
Gardocki to kick off. Jones and McCracken are deep for Duke. Most of that drive on the ground, but it was a 20-yard touchdown pass for the lead, and Jones will not have a chance to run this one out. It is kicked through the end zone. 1st and 10 at the 20 is coming up. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by JP Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference is prohibited.
Big drive here for the Duke Blue Devils. 2 long possessions in the first quarter with no points. Take it a step further. 5 quarters now without any points. Barry Wilson knows his team's got to get that feeling of scoring again.
The new tailback, Leroy Gallman, is the tailback. Brown is still the fullback, and Dave Brown is still the quarterback. Down the middle, the pass is complete. Picked up by Mark Mays. Mays just short of the 40, a gain of 18. Arlington Nunn made the tackle.
First time we have seen Duke throw the ball deep on first down. They catch Clemson in their base defense. See, no real pressure, just the down lineman. Plenty of time for Mays to cross through the seam in the zone and pick up the first down.
Ball close to the 39-yard line on 1st and 10. The 2 wide receivers split to the left. That's the fullback Chris Brown in motion. Gallman to the short side of the field. Breaks loose. 50. 45. Cuts it back and is brought down. A necktie-saving tackle by Robert O'Neill. There might have been even more yardage for Leroy Gallman.
Eddie Wilson, the offensive coordinator for Duke, said that Leroy Gallman has been one of their pleasant surprises this year. He has come on to capably back up Cuthbert as the tailback. That's the best run by any Duke ball carrier thus far this afternoon. Leroy, a sophomore who they feel is going to play a little more football before he's done, as they attend to Kenzel Jackson, the backup linebacker. They've got a number of second-line players sprinkled among the troops right now for the Tigers. You see them attending to the right ankle of Kenzel.
And Doug Brewster had come off the field toward the sideline to have a chat with the Clemson defensive coaches as Kenzel is being helped up. 13 minutes and 24 seconds remaining here. We're in the first half. Clemson has just scored to take a 7-0 lead, along with Jack Corrigan up here. Mike Hogwood, who's recovered, I think, from his run down the hill. Down on the field, I'm John Sanders. We're happy to have you with us this afternoon.
And we are seeing again Duke with the ability to move the football. They've got to be able to score. Speaking of teams moving the football, Georgia Tech has had good ability moving the ball, and so has Maryland. Maybe the surprise team in the conference right now. That'll be our JP Sports game next week from College Park. Georgia Tech against Maryland.
Should be a very interesting matchup. Ball is spotted at the 43-yard line. Duke again taking the ball into Clemson territory. They have not scored. It's 7-0. Clock has been restarted. The backs are split behind Brown. Sneaking up on the outside. They are coming. They pick it up and the pass is complete. Walter Jones has it to the 40-yard line. A gain of 3. Al Richard on the tackle.
That's that pattern that Duke will run 2 or 3 times in a ball game. We used to call it the wrinkle, where the widest of the wide receivers would wrinkle underneath his inside partners and try and get a little mini screen on the outside. Dave Brown has now completed 8 passes, and he has passed the 100-yard mark on the afternoon.
Certainly a much better start for Dave compared to last week against Virginia. 2nd and 7 at the 40. Duke is in Clemson territory. Here comes the sweep, and it is strung out and nailed is Gallman. Ashley Shepard leading the charge. Reinforcements from Arlington, none.
I think Clemson may be the most difficult team in the conference, if not the country, to try and run the toss sweep to the short side of the field. That's because they have such great penetration ability from their outside backers and their safety people. Shepard, you see the size for a linebacker was there. So was Arlington Nunn, the strong safety.
It is 3rd down, long yardage. They'll go to the shotgun. Duke is 4 out of 6 on 3rd down. Clock running 11:45 to play first half. Brown with time. Now runs out of time, runs up in the pocket. He's got some territory in front of him, trying to make it to the first down marker. Won't do it. At the 35, he is dropped by Doug Brewster. A gain of 9 on the play.
Clemson came with just a 3-man rush that time. And this was more a situation, Dave Brown, sensing that he was not going to find anything upfield, had to find an avenue around the pressure and then try and get as close to the sticks as he could. He is 2 yards shy, and they're going to go for it on 4th and 2.
Second time they have tried on 4th down. Over 81,000 here for homecoming 1990, 81,500. 4th down and 2. Dyer and Gallman are the running backs. The play is blown dead. And again, the clock had expired. That's twice that's happened in the first half. Let's go downstairs to Mike Hogwood.
Well, guys, just checked with the trainers about Kenzel Jackson, the linebacker. He's got a sprained ankle. That's not a good sign. He's on the bench now with ice on it. He's going to try to put some weight on it in a little while, but it's going to be a while before he's back, and it may not be back in this game.
That changes the strategy and brings the punt team out onto the field. Dexter Davis is deep. Randy Gardner, who's averaging just under 40 a kick. There is Davis, who intercepted a pass earlier. He'll field it at the 5. He's got all kinds of company, and down he goes. No return at all. Down on the play, Chris Teston, a 35-yard punt. Clemson will start deep in its own territory. The Tigers earlier had a drive of 80 yards for the only touchdown of the game. This drive will start inside the 5.
Well, it was courageous on Dexter's part. I don't know if it was the smartest thing he's ever done as a punt returner, but I guess in his mind he felt that if he had let the ball go, it would be down even deeper inside the 5. But good punt coverage by the Duke special teams. Long way to go for Deshaun Cameron and company.
2 tight ends, wishbone formation. Paul Caputo has joined this offensive unit. Harris, the front man there in the wishbone. It's Williams across the 5 to the 6. Keith Dubose made the tackle. Give him a couple. Mark Allen was also there from his inside linebacker position to fill the hole. 10 minutes and 27 seconds now remaining as the clock rolls here in the first half. Clemson scoring in the first minute of the second quarter after Duke had dominated possession in the first quarter. It is a 7-0 football game. Second down. 8 yards to go. The ball at the 6. Coach Ken Hatfield, with great success he brings with him as far as his coaching record. Yep, there's motion again. This time it looked like Hall maybe playing over there for Stacy Long, who's been bothered by the injuries, but Long was back in the lineup as a starter today.
Second time we've had a procedural penalty against the Tigers. The first time it nearly cost them on their touchdown drive. This time, as Kenny looked down on his play sheet and said, what do I have for 2nd and long on my 2-yard line? I think I'll let the offensive coordinator make this call.
He's talking to Dwayne Bryant, a freshman from Tallahassee, who's seeing some playing time this afternoon.
Speaking of the offensive coordinator, Larry Vanderhayden, who does a fine job for Clemson, had his brother pass away this week, and all of us at JP Sports extend our sympathies to the Vanderhayden family.
Inside 10 minutes to play in the half. Clemson backed up to the 3. Cameron into his end zone, looking deep down the near sideline. It's overthrown, intended for Terry Smith. Keith Dubose was right there with him.
Deshaun Cameron hurt his foot in the ball game at Maryland, and the coaches still feel that he is having a little bit of trouble really pushing off that foot when he tries to throw the ball deep. He has a tendency to overshoot the mark a little bit because he's not really getting on top of the ball with that good pressure to just letting it sail and hoping that his trajectory is the correct one. So far it has not been.
Ryans checks back into the huddle. He's in there with Smith. Bryant is in there as well. 3 wide receivers. Move Williams into the slot and start him in motion. Cameron on a quarterback draw at the 5. Dives forward to near the 14-yard line, and he's going to be close to a first down. Not sure if he got enough.
Dwayne Bryant was the guy trying to keep the pressure on Mark Allen enough. Quarterback draw as he gets away from Scott Yomsdale on Derek Jackson. A good block by Bryant, and then a good tackle by Keith Dubose. I don't think he got it.
9 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the half, and we are going to measure for the first time. I think Jack's right. I think they're going to be a little bit short.
I think they're at least a half a yard short.
There was some grumbling on this side of the field with the spot of that football.
Yeah, they didn't like the spot, but oh yeah, more than a yard shy.
I think I'd be able to see that one across the field, wouldn't you? I don't know how high the crown is.
You can request them to bring the chains over and get a measurement. Although if I'm inside my 15-yard line, even if I'm a half a foot short, I think I'm still going to punt the football. Second time that Duke has forced a 3-and-out from the Clemson offense deep in Tiger territory. Duke should get good field position again.
Walter Jones is deep.
Now Gardaki's last kick was a line drive kick that Breedlove was able to return upfield a little bit. Let's see if he gets better hang time this time.
Well, you're right. It's not the kind of kick you're used to seeing from Chris Gardocki, who boomed one 66 yards last week. This is more typical. Jones backpedals to the 32, starts to the right at the 35. Tackled from behind at the 39-yard line. Gulak down to make the tackle, a 54-yard kick and a 5-yard return.
And the key was not only the distance, it was the hang time that allowed Dave Gulak to get downfield and run Walter Jones or Randy Jones down from behind. What a weapon he is for the Clemson offense, and for that matter, the Clemson defense.
9 minutes, 4 seconds to play in the half. The ball at the 39-yard line. Brown, the quarterback. He's got Dahlman and Dyer as his running backs right now. That's Dyer in motion. Brown to the right, sets, fires. The ball is caught. Was he in bounds? No. Mark Mays went down. Did not have possession in bounds, the officials say. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Barry Wilson disagreeing with the assessment, but what would you expect the Duke coach to do if the play took place right in front of him?
Well, he's not going to cheer, you know that.
Dave Mays on a naked rollout, and that was a good call because the knee was out of bounds before the ball was in the hands of Mark Mays, even if he had possession.
2nd down, 10. They go from the shotgun. We've seen that a lot so far in the first half. But some trouble. Gets away from one tackler. Fights his way back near the line of scrimmage. Vance Hammond dropped him there. And Brown able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Johnson was in that backfield applying pressure.
You wouldn't call Dave Brown the most agile quarterback in the country, but at 6'5", 210, he can take a hit pretty well and stay on his feet. He also does a pretty good job of finding little creases to move his way back. That could have been an 8 or 9 yard loss. Instead, they're faced with 3rd and 10.
Trying to avoid 3 and out for the first time in the game. They had a couple of long marches, no points in the first quarter. Brown sets up in that pocket, fires down the middle, the ball is caught. At the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Mark Mays up high to make the catch. A gain of 16, and that will be a Duke first down. Big play on 3rd down.
Same play we saw earlier in the game with Mays going from left to right. This time he crosses the field from his right to his left, again splitting the seam between the deep safeties and the underneath coverage.
Henderson putting the hit on Mark Mays. Mays has caught 3 passes now for 44 yards. At the 45, 1st and 10. Huddle clock, 5 seconds. Dyer on the delay, spins away from a tackler and picks up a couple. He was spinning away from McLaughlin. McLaughlin saw action early in the game, then he was out for a while, Jack. He didn't play for a bit, and he's back in there now.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Bob Trott, the defensive coordinator, will play a number of people out of that front 7 group. You will see the 2 deep out of those front 7 positions throughout the ball game. He wants them to stay fresh.
2nd down and 8. The ball near the 43-yard line. Brown again throws over the middle, and this time the pass is incomplete. Intended for backup tight end Dan Clark, number 85, and Doug Brewster was with him. Who's winning this one? It's like a standoff.
Certainly Duke misses their great wide receiver Clarkston Hines, but I don't think enough has been mentioned of the absence of the great tight end Dave Colonna, who did such a wonderful job in this diversified offense of finding open spaces and always being the guy that Dave Brown or Billy Ray could turn to and come up with a big catch.
Coming into the game, Duke was only 13 of 39 on 3rd down. They've done a much better job this afternoon. Brown steps away from the pressure. Now he's got a little time as he moves to his right. Sets, fires downfield. It's overthrown and incomplete. The rush coming from Vance Hammond. Pass downfield is incomplete. Defensively, Robert O'Neill was there.
Much better choice that time by Dave Brown. That if his man wasn't going to catch it, nobody was going to catch it. He might have had an outside shot of running for the first down on that play, but he was looking for more.
There's Dexter Davis. He's deep, along with Robert O'Neill. Gardner's punt. fielded at the 10.
He called for the fair catch and then ran with the ball.
It also looked like his running mate back there, Robert O'Neill, was calling for the fair catch. In any event, it's a 34-yard kick. 6:46 remaining. 7-0 Clemson. We'll be back after this. We're in the second quarter. Clemson has a 7-0 lead with 6:46 remaining, and statistically it's starting to turn just a bit as Clemson's starting to make some things happen offensively.
Well, they have had nearly a drop of 200 yards in total offense. Randy Cuthbert has not played much in the second quarter. We don't know if he's banged up or just not playing right now. The biggest factor, the last one. The 32 points a game last year, just over 12 points, and that number will drop if they don't get themselves going there midway through the second quarter. Still no points.
Smith to the left, Ryans to the right. Straight ahead running by the fullback Rudy Harris. Across the 15 near the 17-yard line on first down. Preston Anderson defensively made the tackle for Duke, as Harris, you talked about him being a tailback. He's got that pretty good size, though, 6'3", 225.
Wake Forest, as they have taken the lead against the Cadets in Michigan with the advantage on Maryland. Joe Krivak has had quite a schedule in the first half of the year. My, oh my, and done well.
Again, the fullback McConnell made the tackle that time on Rudy Harris. Very close to a first down. He might be just a shade short.
Well, Rudy was a north-south tailback when he played at Brockton because he was a big kid. He rushed for over 4,000 yards in high school.
He's picked up 26 here today on 4 carries.
Well, that's why they thought he would give them a little extra out of that fullback spot like Wesley McFadden used to do. He's not the blocker that McFadden was yet.
3rd and short. The keeper by Deshaun Cameron, who has 40 yards himself rushing in the first half on 4 carries, and he has a first down for the Tigers. Clemson coming in with a record of 3-1. Their loss came in the second game of the season to Virginia. The 2 shutouts here against Long Beach State, 59-0. Last week here against Appalachian State, 48-0. Duke is 1-2, winless in the ACC, and last week it was a 59-0 loss inflicted on them. Checking in is Robbie Spencer, wide receiver number 2 for Clemson. Maybe split to the left. Option play, Cameron. And dances his way. Cameron on the keeper. Close to a first down. Dwayne Marks made the tackle, but Deshaun Cameron is close to another first down for the Tigers.
Well, Deshaun could have given this ball to Rudy Harris, and once he saw that the outside part of the option was closed up, he said, well, I'm just going to go where Rudy was. And the hole was there, and he gets almost 10, close enough actually to bring the chains over and measure. Deshaun Cameron came into the ball game with 64 yards rushing on the season.
And the way he's going to more than match that this afternoon. Talk about superstitions. He always wears his brother's T-shirt underneath his pads. He's got the first down.
Didn't get a chance to ask him yesterday if it's been the same T-shirt every year or if he gets a new one from his brother each season. Fine young man from LaGrange, Georgia. He's an accounting major. Strong. One of the reasons why he runs so well, you wouldn't think of a quarterback at 190 pounds being able to bench press more than 300 pounds. Shows you that he can take a pretty good lick.
He's rushed for over 50 so far. Motion man is Ryans. First man through on the option play for a couple to the 35 is Harris. Scott Yeomans plugging the middle of that line as he does so very well.
Well, right here, I think Clemson is trying to establish their running game because they have not had much success except for the one drive this afternoon, and also eat up time off that clock. Kenny Hatfield would go into this locker room at halftime with a 7-0 advantage or 10 or 14 and be very happy because he's going to have the ball for the second half kickoff.
And of course the Duke fans remember the 14-0 halftime deficit a year ago that they bounced back from. You remember the game. Terry Allen had a couple of touchdowns. He had most of his 143 yards in the first half, and then it came to a screeching halt. It is 7-0 Clemson here. Second down play. About 6 to go. Behind the line of scrimmage, Yeomans is right there. Well, Darryl Spells as well, and they really nailed Ronald Williams.
Well, you talk to people preparing each week for Duke, and they say the most impressive guy is Scott Yeomans, the sophomore nose guard. He's just 5'11". He's 250 pounds. They have a little running joke at Duke. He is allowed to gain 1/4 of an inch in his height for each sack he's made this year. He's made 4 sacks, so according to Barry Wilson, he's a 6-footer right now.
Absolutely, and growing week by week. Williams the motion man. Harris the lone setback. Deshaun Cameron sets, looks, fires. Ball is caught at the 45-yard line by the tight end Stacy Fields. He's wrapped up immediately by Mark Allen, but it is a first down for Clemson and 11-yard pickup.
They don't throw very often to their tight ends. That's just the 3rd catch on the year for Stacy Fields. Just a deep curl route by the tight end. Good protection and good patience by Cameron to wait for Fields to break open.
Clock running, 3:25 to play in the first half. 3rd possession of the 2nd quarter for the Tigers of Clemson. Only their 4th of the game. Possession dominated early in the game by Duke. It's turning around a bit. Deshaun Cameron for about 5. Again, Darrell Spells, number 45, the sophomore from Richwood, Texas, makes the tackle.
Well, Darrell's going to have a chance to perhaps lead the conference in tackles this year. He had a 21 tackle game against Northwestern a couple of weeks ago. He is certainly the leading tackler here in the first half for the Blue Devils.
And he was a hurdler in high school on the track team. Made 3 starts a year ago, but 1990's been a good season for him so far. 2nd and long, 5. Loose football, and who's on top of it at midfield? Deshaun Cameron apparently was able to get back on top of the ball and wind up at the bottom of the pile. There he is.
Clemson has committed 6 turnovers on the year. They've all been fumbles. Cameron has not thrown an interception this year. He personally has not committed any fumbles. I think he just pulled out too quickly from Curtis Whitley, the center, or Whitley didn't get it up high enough for Deshaun to come away cleanly with the football. It sets up a 3rd down situation. Clemson with 2 timeouts left as we go under the 2-minute mark here in the first half.
The Tigers are +8 in the turnover takeaway stat as of right now. Cameron sets, fires out to his right again. The tight end makes the catch for a first down at the 40. Stacy Fields in the arms of Derek Jackson. Another 11-yard gain. That's working out well for him so far.
Well, that's a good decision by the Clemson offensive coaches. As I said, they don't throw very often to the tight end. So for that reason, if you're the defense, you're not going to put a lot of your attention on the tight end. And Stacy Fields, who is a 2-time academic All-ACC, the Jervy academic scholar here, has a chance to keep the drive alive.
On the option, the pass. He's caught inside. No, he's out of bounds. It was intended for Terry Smith. It just took an awful long time, Jack, for the ball to get to him.
Well, as I mentioned, Deshaun is having problems throwing the ball deep. If you can't set your feet, you have a problem with your accuracy trying to throw the ball deep. You can get away with it short because you can arm the ball and get it there. But when you have to use more of your body, when you have to get your legs into the pass, then a foot problem, an ankle problem is going to make that more difficult. Wow.
How about that?
William and Mary with an early advantage at Charlottesville.
7-3 there, 7-0 here. Clemson with the lead and the football. Cameron on the option for 5 as he goes to the 35. Tripped up by Allen. Allen got a hand down low. That was the 12th play of the drive. We have had long possession drives by both teams so far.
But only the 1 score, and with the clock still moving down near 1:10 to play in the first half, Clemson content to keep winding that clock down because they're already in Gardaki's range because he can kick those plus 50-yarders.
3rd down play, and they keep it right there on the ground to Rudy Harris. Runs into Scott Yeomans.
And Gardaki's going to have to try a plus 50-yarder if that's what Ken Hatfield wants to do.
57-yarder, almost 58 yards last week. The ball is spotted at the 34-yard line.
What Clemson is going to do right here, in my estimation, is run the huddle clock down till there is a couple of seconds left, call timeout, then go for the field goal, leaving Duke with virtually no time remaining, regardless of what happens with the field goal try.
You're looking at the game clock. The huddle clock is inside 5 seconds.
And they just called the timeout. That's exactly Ken Hatfield playing it close to the vest here, as I said before. He'll go into the locker room and be happy with a 10-point lead. Well, maybe not happy, but be satisfied that his ball club is up. And with Gardocki, the great weapon, you can see he had the 57-yarder that tied the conference record last week. In high school, at Butler High School in Stone Mountain, Georgia, he kicked a 59-yarder. So he certainly has the ability to kick them from long distance. With the ball at the 34, it'd be about a 51-yard attempt for Gardocki. That'd be like a sand wedge for John LeCrone, but, you know, I'm sure Mr. Gardocki can handle it.
57 is longest. He's 4 out of 6. Clemson has had the ball since the 6:46 mark, and we have 21 seconds left in the first half. Gardocki.
Well, he changes so much of the perspective for the Clemson offense in 2 ways. They can be conservative, and if they're not moving the ball in floor field position, they know he can give you the long punt and have the defense be all right. And then when you get over the 50-yard line, he automatically becomes a threat to kick the ball as a field goal kicker.
He is 2 out of 3 from plus 50 this year. This is 51 yards. Pleased with the hole. The kick is up. And it is good.
By plenty.
3 out of 4 from plus 50. You talk about a weapon. Gardocki makes it 10-0 with 15 seconds left in the first half.
And credit the Clemson coaching staff with good maintenance of the clock as well. 15 seconds to go. Duke will have nothing to do in the final seconds of the first half. As I said, Gardocki got this by plenty. Watch this ball clear the crossbar. I mean, you're talking, he would have hit that from 60.
He almost kicked it up the hill.
Well, Paul Zimmerman a couple of years ago said this guy would be the kicker of the 90s in the National Football League when he was a freshman here at Clemson. 2 years later, Chris is doing nothing to make Dr. Z's prediction look bad.
6 minutes and 31 seconds. Clemson had the football. Gardocki wrapping up the drive with a 51-yard field goal. A 10-0 lead. Jones and Jones. Randy and Walter back deep to receive Gardocki's kickoff, and he kicked it deep into the end zone his last time. The weather remains just great. Slightly overcast. Temperature not too warm. Homecoming 1990. Revenge has been a key word in Clemson, South Carolina this week. Revenge for the loss to Duke, and revenge for a homecoming loss last year. Jones at the 8th. Starts right, 15-20. Dives forward across the 25 near the 27-yard line, and Darren Calhoun made the tackle. 9 seconds remaining in the half.
Line up 3 wide receivers to one side of the field. Go into the shotgun. Let it fly. Hope that you have somebody fall down or an interference call.
And we need enough players. If you're the Duke offense, give me enough troops to get this going. Brown has gone all the way at quarterback in the first half.
They're in a 2 tight end set.
They'll just take the snap and drop on it. Let the clock expire. We have finished the first half here in Death Valley Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. The Tigers still have not been scored on at home. Duke will head to the locker room down by 10 at halftime. It is 10-0 Clemson on top of Duke. And let's go down to Mike Hogwood with Ken Hatfield. Michael?
Coach, up 10-0. I know Chris Gardocki's field goal. That's a real big lift for you here before halftime.
That's a big lift to put us up at least 2 scores right now, but it's still a 0-0 game. Duke has played a perfect game. They've not turned the ball over. They've made a yardage. We've had to start deep in our end of the field every time. It's tough when you do that.
Deshaun Cameron's picked up a lot of yards running the football. You plan on that before the game?
Well, Deshaun's played well. I think you got to have in a game like this where they're not giving you anything. Your quarterback's got to play consistently, and he had a big touchdown pass and ran the ball well.
Finally, any changes for the second half we might look for?
Not really, other than just some minor details on splits and stuff like that.
All right. That's Ken Hatfield headed to the locker room with his Clemson Tigers, who lead here 10-0 over the Duke Blue Devils. We'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment. Stay with us.
Sports exclusive coverage of ACC football is brought to you by Days Inn. Days offers great rooms, great value at over 1,000 great locations. By Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized. By BP Oil, makers of high-octane, high-performance gasolines. And by your local Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealers. In the Carolinas, the place to be is in a Chevrolet or Geo.
We're back in Death Valley where the Clemson Tigers lead Duke by a score of 10-0. It is homecoming here today, and most of these 80,000 orange-clad fans are rather excited and happy about this score for their Clemson Tigers. Deshaun Cameron, a touchdown pass to Terry Smith, and then just before halftime, the long 51-yard field goal by Chris Each week now, we're going to show you a play of the week, and our play of the week this week occurred right here 1 week ago on this field for the Clemson Tigers. Our MCI long-distance play of the week is brought to you by MCI, the official long-distance company of ACC football. Appalachian State at Clemson. Watch Derek Witherspoon. He's off and running. 81 yards for a touchdown. Witherspoon had 123 yards on 10 carries for Clemson as they went on to a big win a week ago. This was longest touchdown run in Clemson Stadium in 40 years. Derek is only a freshman. That's our MCI play of the week. We're at halftime here at Clemson. This week, Clemson leads Duke 10-0. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Clemson, South Carolina. The Tigers lead the Blue Devils of Duke 10-0. We are at halftime. It is homecoming here. Very patriotic theme at homecoming, much to the delight of these 80,000 fans. Right now, we're going to take you one for the books. Remember, a couple of great Clemson linemen, a couple of brothers, the refrigerator, William Perry and Michael Dean Perry.
Delta, the airline of ACC country, is proud to bring you another ACC football one for the books. Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. Strong family lines led the Perry brothers from Aiken down the hill at Death Valley.
She gave them a lot of their personalities, and both of them had outstanding personalities. And athletic ability, I don't know where they got that from, but they had an excellent athletic ability, probably from their father. But both were naturally strong, quick, super quickness for big people. I mean, you don't find big people that quick.
Opponents would find that William was indeed fast and strong. For instance, in 1984, his 27 tackles for a loss was a school record. He also had 10 quarterback sacks that year for a total of 27 career. Former Maryland coach Bobby Ross is still amazed by the play William made on Willie Joyner.
Willie was having a good day and broke down the sideline. And all of a sudden, just out of a clear blue sky, this massive human being ran down our running back. I mean, he chased him down. He made the play. And of course, it was a refrigerator. And yet, I thought Michael Dean was probably every bit as good a player. Maybe not as intimidating size-wise, but as a player, very much so. Our first game here at Georgia Tech against Clemson, on the very first play, Michael Dean was into our backfield before our quarterback actually had taken 2 steps away from the center. And I think that set the tempo for that whole game.
Michael Dean didn't want to be considered William's little brother. He wanted to be his own man, and I think he established that. And when he broke the sack record for on quarterback sacks, he established his own identity there, of course.
The 28 career sacks was also an ACC record, and Michael Dean still sits atop the Tiger record book for tackles for a loss with 61 during his 4 years at Clemson. That's also an ACC mark. 1984 had to be a nightmare for opposing coaches. There were times when William and Michael Dean lined up side by side. William, now with the Chicago Bears, is a popular figure both here and abroad, as witnessed by Coach Mike Ditka while preparing for an exhibition game in England in 1987.
There's no question about it. People who don't know anything, they know about the refrigerator.
The Perry brothers, William and Michael Dean, authors of a legacy of defense at Clemson. This has been another ACC One for the Books, brought to you by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
The Perrys were great here for the Clemson Tigers. We'll update you on all our scores. Clemson leads Duke 10-0, but first, these words from your local ACC stations.